Hi, I'm Suhail, a software engineer here at TurboML. In this video, I'll take you guys through a quick run through of the platform and also show you how you can set up a dedicated trial instance. I'll also cover how you can deploy and evaluate a simple ML model. So let's start. So first of all, you can visit us at turboml.com and you'll be taken to this landing page. So here you can see all the details about our product, common FAQs, some contact details, and documentation links. Also, do subscribe to our newsletter for latest updates. And here on the left, you can see all the links to our socials and email also. So for getting started with the trial instance, click on this Try Now button. So you'll be taken to this page. Here, like you can see the details about the trial instance or the playground. So the trial instance or the playground instance is basically a resource limited TurboML instance. And by default, you'll have access to it for like 4 hours. So here you can see the details like instance will automatically expire after 4 hours. So like if you need to extend the time for the particular instance, you can contact us. We'll be able to help you. So for this case, I'll just sign with Google. Yeah. So this is the TurboML dashboard. So before going in deep to the like different sections in the UI, I'll give you guys a quick primer of how general ML engineering workflow works. Yeah. So here, this is the architecture of like TurboML. So here, I'll just explain the flow on top of this particular architecture. So generally, when we need to like set up a ML pipeline, so we initially need to register some dataset. So there are two ways to configure the dataset. Like it could be like pull based or push based. So it means like a pull based means like the configuration of dataset would be such that like we're pulling data from some backend, like some database, like some Postgres database or like some other cloud storage or some streaming sources, right? So that is pull based, and push based would be like you can push the data to our platform through some SDK or REST APIs. So once the data ingestion or the data set is configured, the next step would be like engineering some new features on top of the existing dataset. So it will be like if you have certain columns in the dataset, you can engineer or calculate new features using existing columns, or like you can add new columns, right? For in order for the models to train on or like do inference on. So once the feature engineering step is done, like once you have configured like which columns you need to calculate some logic on, and after that that is set, next step would be like to do the model training and model engineering part. So it will be like you'll be experiment with the particular model of your use case and on the particular feature which you have engineered uh, from the data set, right? So once the model engineering part is done and you think the particular model works as per your need, your next step would be like deploying the model. So once the model is deployed, like it's not the end of the process. Like this will be a continuous process. So once the model is deployed, you might have to continuously monitor and retrain the model as per the requirement. So that would be the rough flow of like how the pipeline works: data ingestion to feature engineering, then model engineering, then deploying the model and continuous monitoring. So yeah, that's it. So I'll now go through the platform. So here you can see on the left, we have the create dataset column. So here you'll have the option for like uploading the dataset. So this can be thought of like a push-based model for configuring the data. So here we would be uploading the dataset as a CSV here. So this is one option. Like we have other option for connectors, like where you can configure some data sources. We won't be going deep into this. And yeah, so once the data set is configured, the next page would be this features page. You'll be able to do your feature engineering here. And then next would be like this model section. Here you'll be able to configure your models and deploy it. Also in this main dashboard, you can see like here we have the connection details. So So the two ways of mainly using the platform would be like you can directly use it through the UI and do the dataset configuration, feature engineering and model engineering, all those stuff. Or you can use it through the SDK. So we provide our TurboML SDK, and you can use it for doing all the things you'll be able to do from the UI also. So for setting up the SDK, you'll have to initially run this particular code. So this will connect your particular SDK API instance with the particular backend which you are running. So if you need to connect with this particular instance of the TurboML, you'll have to run this particular code with the respective credential. So this would be the backend URL, and this would be the API key. So once you run this, the SDK would be configured to connect with this server for all the processing. So I'll show you how that connection works. Before that, I'll show you guys the documentation we have for the platform. So yeah, so this is the documentation for TurboML. So this will be at docs.turboml.com. So here you can see the introduction section. So this section explains all the concepts used in the platform. So on the right, you can see like different steps involved, as I mentioned previously, like data ingestion, feature engineering, ML modeling, ML training, and deployment ML ops, right? So you can go through this document. So it gives a rough idea of like how the platform works and different concepts you should be knowing when working with the platform, or in general, like in general ML engineering workflow. Yeah. And we have this quick start section also. So this is basically a Python notebook. It takes you through like the steps of registering the dataset and like uh, running a model, deploying a model, and like comparing it and its performance. Yeah. So you can go through this. So this would be the starting point for you to get hands-on with the platform. So you'll be able to run this notebook, and we have given a Google Colab link here. So I'll show you. Yeah. So here, this is the particular Google Colab instance where we have opened the particular Quick Start notebook, right? So you can run through this. So I'll just quickly show you how to connect with the server here. So we'll run this. Yeah, this might take a bit of time, like initial part. So yeah, we can wait. So you can also run this locally, like you can run this particular step to clone the repo. And yeah, you'll be able to set it up if you have the proper dependencies. Yeah, so once the SDK installation step is done, like it might take a bit of time, and once it is done, like the notebook will restart automatically, and you can run this particular cell to get into the particular folder. And once that is done, you can run this particular step. So here we haven't configured the backend URL and API key. So this will show that the backend URL is not defined. So what you can do is you can go to the home page and copy the connection details from here, and the notebook, just replace this part and run this. Yeah, so now the SDK is connected to the server. To verify that, we'll just add a new cell and run tb.get user info. So now you can see that it has connected to the backend with particularly my username and like email. So that's how you set up the connection from the SDK to the particular backend instance. So I won't be running the remaining notebook. So you guys can fiddle with it, like, and you can try running the particular notebook and see how it works. So now I'll go back to the dashboard. Yeah. So now I'll show you guys how you can deploy a simple model and evaluate it like from the UI itself. So first of all, yeah, I'll take you guys to this particular page. So yeah, first of all, yeah, we can configure a dataset. So before configuring dataset, like I will be using the dataset from our Colab notebook. So for getting access to that, you can visit our GitHub page. So here, this will be at github.com/turboml-inc. And we have one collab notebooks repository. So you can clone this, and you can use the data in the particular data folder. So I have already downloaded this particular repo, so I'll be using that from my system. So I'll create a new uh, transactions dataset. I'll give the name transaction underscore dataset. I'll upload the transactions.csv. So this index column option gives you the option for selecting any unique index in your dataset. So if you don't have that, like you can maybe choose this option. So this will automatically add an auto increment index column. So I'll set that up. So this might take a bit of time, but depending upon the size of the CSV file. Yeah. So now the dataset has been uploaded successfully. And if you go to the verify dataset page, data page, so you can see that we have added a new dataset like transaction underscore dataset. So since we use Kafka underneath, you can see the details about the topic here. So it has total of 200, almost around 200K records. And the schema section, you can see some details here. Yeah. And if you go to the features page, you can see that it shows the dataset here. So since we haven't configured any features, it will show 0 as of now. So we have created the input dataset. We'll also add the labels dataset here. So I'll give the name labels, and I'll select the labels.csv. Also here I'll also add the index column. So we'll upload it. Yeah, so that's done. And if you check the verify data section, yeah, you can see that it has added the labels dataset also. So both has same number of messages here. And in the feature section, if you see, we have both the dataset. So now we have configured our dataset. So the next step would be we need to uh, engineer some features, right? So we'll open the transaction dataset here. So here, since we haven't configured anything, it will give us an option for creating a feature. So we can click on this. Yeah. So this is the feature engineering page. So here on the top, you can see all the schema of the particular dataset, and yeah, all the columns and everything. And you have the option for configuring the timestamp. So if you are engineering some features which require timestamp, you can configure it here. So here I'll configure on the timestamp column, and the format would be epoch seconds, and I'll register the timestamp. So now it's registered, and here we have option for creating the new feature. Yeah, so I'll create a new feature, and here I'll maybe do a simple transaction amount plus local hours. Yeah. So here you just need to write the SQL expression you need for the new column or the new feature. So you can give the expression here, and you can click on add SQL definition. So we have added one SQL definition. So this is the first feature, and the next one, if you need, you can create an aggregate definition. So here I'll maybe use, and here we'll select the column on which we need to create this particular feature. So this will be amounts. We can do sum, and we'll group by account ID. So we'll group by account ID and calculate the sum of total transaction amount for maybe last 24 hours here. And for calculating the timestamp, the interval, we'll make use of the timestamp we have registered previously. And we can click on the add aggregate definition. Yeah, so now we have created two definitions, two features, right? So you can click on this log features. So this will materialize these features on the dataset we have registered. So Yeah, so this might take a bit of time. And yeah, now the particular feature is locked. So, and you can see that the transaction dataset has new two features now. Like you can see the details here if you open it. Okay. So now we have configured the feature. So we can go to the model section, and now we can create a model on the particular features we have configured. So you can click on create new model. So in this page, you have the option for like selecting the input dataset, label datasets. So from the input dataset, you can select the transaction dataset we have already registered, and the labels, we can select the labels dataset. So the input dataset, you can see that it has added the two features we have engineered, like the SQL feature one, some feature one also. So in the labels dataset, we have two columns, index and fraud. So we'll be selecting the fraud is fraud column here. So you can give the name for model one. And under the algorithm section, you can see the list of algorithms our platform provides native. So these are algorithms which we have implemented specifically for real-time use case. So in this case, we'll maybe use like RCF algorithm here. So for getting like some documentation on the RCF algorithm, you can go to the doc section and you'll be able to see it here. Yeah, so you can see the random cut forest algorithm here, right? So you can go through this, and similarly, we have different algorithms defined here. You can go through the documentation for all of these, right? So, so yeah, back to configuring the model. So we'll select the RCF, and here the particular algorithm takes numerical fields. So we'll select some numerical fields here. So we'll take the transaction amount, some local hour time, and our two features here. And you have also options to configure the model parameters or the hyperparameters. So we won't be changing anything as of now. So you can play with this as per your requirement. So we'll go with this itself. And you can click on the execute button. So this will register the model and deploy it. So yeah, so now the model is deployed, and if you click on this, you'll be able to see the details of the model, like the label dataset, label column, the numerical fields we have selected, the algorithm, and you have the metrics section. So here you have option for configuring some metrics on the particular model. So we can add like windowed accuracy metrics. And yeah, so to view the metrics calculated on the model, you can click on this. So here you'll be able to see the output. Yeah. So you can hover on this and see the accuracy score for this particular model. So yeah. And you have option for comparing with other models also. Like if you have configured the same data set on two different models, you can compare them. So we'll deploy another model and I'll show you how you can compare that. Before that, I'll show you the different tabs in this particular page. So here the output section shows you the score for like a different inference already done for the dataset. So you can view different data points here. In the log section, you can see the process info about the model executor. So you have some details here, and the standard output or standard error will show the details respectively. In the schema, you can see the input dataset schema here. So you can see all the fields here and the custom features we have engineered on those. And the version here, you'll be able to see the version of the models also. So now I'll configure another model. Yeah, on the same dataset, label and label column, we have the engineered features here. So here, model 2, I'll create, and I'll maybe use this offering a tree classifier. And we can have categorical fields. So this particular algorithm takes in two types of fields, like categorical and numerical fields. So we can maybe select, yeah, card type, some count details or something. Yeah, and numerical fields will maybe select the same as what we have selected previously for the other model. And yeah, so similar to that base model, you have the option for configuring the parameters for the model here. So we'll deploy this model, and yeah, so now we have two models already deployed, and one using RCF algorithm and one using offering tree classifier, and which are both on the same transaction data set. So we can go to our first model again, and here you can compare our model with the second model which we have deployed right now. So when you run on the windowed accuracy, you can see how how both the models compare, right? And you can select different metrics here. Windowed AUC you can check. So yeah, so you can compare different models and see how both the model performs, and accordingly you can select which model to go with your deployment and like, yeah, for the production use. So that was a simple quick run through of the platform, and we showed you guys how to configure dataset, like how you can configure features on the particular dataset, and finally deploy a model and evaluate it and compare it with maybe some parallel models. So that's it. If you guys have any feedback, or if you face an issue while using the platform, or if you think our platform meets your use case, please do reach out to us. We are really excited to work with you. Thank you.